Diona is a very flexible support, especially if you're looking for a shielder and a healer, which she can definitely do. And since she's in the current Hu Tao rerun banner as a rate up 4-star, I guess this is the right time to talk about her, especially for the new players who's unsure if she's worth to build and spend their resources with. So in this video, we will talk about Diona's kit, weapons, builds, team compositions, and her constellations. So with that being said, let's jump straight into the video. If you take a look at the current statistics of Spiral Abyss, you can literally see Diona in almost every team comp that 36 stars this Spiral Abyss. She plays so well in a perma-freeze team, and she can be used as an enabler for Superconduct team comp to make your physical main DPS do more damage. However, regarding on using her with the current rate up character Hu Tao, there's a little bit of advanced mechanics to make her more effective, since Melt gives you the highest damage output when it comes to amplifying reactions. Timestamp will be available in the description if you want to skip some parts of the video, but I highly suggest to watch the whole video to fully understand her whole kit. Diona is currently the best character in-game that provides shield and off-field healing, unlike Noelle that you need to be on-field to do normal attack just to provide healing. Her elemental skill generates a shield which can absorb damage based on her max HP. It doesn't really need to hit the enemy, it will generate a shield no matter what happens. Her elemental skill have two types, the press and hold level. Her press skill throws 2 icy balls that will provide you shield for about 5 seconds with a 6-second cooldown, while her hold skill throws 5 icy balls that gives you a 12.5 second shield duration and a 15-second cooldown. Diona's basic attack doesn't do more damage since she was built as a support in mind, so most of the time, you will be using her whole skill to make your main DPS stay on field for a longer time without taking any damage. She also generates more cryo particles when you use her whole skill, which makes her a very good battery for a cryo main DPS. Her elemental burst let her throw her signature mix to the nearest enemy and creates an AoE which heals and damages the enemies at the same time. It has a 12-second duration with a 20-second cooldown and an 80 energy cost. Her burst allows you to continuously apply cryo element to the enemy, which is perfect setup for a perma-freeze team, melt or superconduct reactions. Both of her elemental skill and burst scales into her maximum HP, so she's very cheap to build and she doesn't really need crit just to be effective as a support character. You might say, hey, her burst costs 80 energy. Well, yes, but she can generate a lot of cryo particles, so building energy recharge is not a big deal, especially if you have sacrificial bow, which we will gonna talk about later in this video. Her passive gives you a chance of getting double the product if you cook any healing recipe. She also gives you an increased movement speed while protected with a shield, which is useful in explorations, especially in Spiral Abyss where enemies are scattered everywhere to save stamina. It also, her elemental burst decreases enemies' attack while inside her burst AoE, so Diona's kit provides you a lot of value overall, which is not available in other support characters so far in the current patch. Now let's move on to her build and artifacts and which one to prioritize depending on your needs. You can use Diona as a shield bot, especially when you're pairing her with Hu Tao, since Hu Tao doesn't really need much of a healing. Hu Tao's elemental burst also heals her after using her burst, so if you want to pair Diona for Hu Tao to set up a melt reaction, all you need to do is just to level up her elemental skill to make her effective. Diona's elemental burst heals a decent amount even at low level. You can level this up right after you're done leveling her elemental skill. Her basic attack doesn't really need to be leveled up since you will be using her as a support, not unless you wanna play her as a main DPS, which is up to you and your resources. Now let's take a look at her artifacts and what works the best for her and the stats that we need to use. Overall, 4-piece Noblesse is recommended for her for a team buff of 20% attack which lasts for 12 seconds whenever you use her elemental burst. However, keep in mind that Noblesse buff doesn't stack, so if you have other character that utilizes Noblesse like Bennett, Mona, or Xingqiu, you can use the second option of artifact as a replacement. So you can build her with 2-piece Tenacity of Millilith for extra shield strength and extra heal since it provides you 20% HP increase, and a 2-piece Noblesse for 20% burst damage. You can replace 2-piece Tenacity of Millilith with 2-piece Emblem of Severe Fate for extra 20% energy recharge if you're having a problem with her burst uptime. And if you want to use Diona as a full dedicated healer, 4-piece Maiden's Beloved is her best in slot to keep your team healthy against corrosion from Rift Hounds. But for me personally, running her with 4-piece Maiden isn't necessarily needed since she gives you shield to keep you protected from taking damage, but it's up to you and your preference since her heal ticks every 2 seconds. Now let's go to her artifact's main stat. So you can run Diona with full HP in Sands, Goblet, and Circlet for overall utility, or you can use healing bonus on her Circlet for more healing. In my opinion, and what I really advise, running her with 2-piece Tenacity of Millilith and 2-piece Noblesse Oblige will do the job done with full HP main stats. Now let's talk about her weapons. Diona shields similarity to Xingqiu and Sucrose, whose best in slot weapons are 4-star. Overall, Sacrificial Bow is what I recommend the most because of the energy recharge stats and a chance to reset her elemental skill when she crits since her hold skill throws 5 icy balls that will give you 100% uptime for her shield. Although it's not necessarily needed, but it's great to have it just in case you take a lot of damage and your shield breaks early. Favonius Warbow is also a good option which have energy recharge stats and generate white particles that gives your team more energy particles for more burst uptime. If you don't have these two weapons, you can run her with Recurve Bow, a 3-star weapon which gives you HP stats for higher shield strength and better healing. But you may want to switch your Sands to energy recharge since Diona's burst costs you 80 energy, just in case you're having trouble with her burst uptime during cooldown. Elegy of the End can be a good option for Diona too, but Sacrificial Bow and Favonius Warbow synergizes well with her kit, which is not necessarily needed to use this weapon for her. Regarding her team comp, Diona really shines on a perma-freeze team and makes her an exceptional support and cryo battery. You can run her with Mona, which extends Mona's Omen duration for longer freeze uptime together with a cryo min DPS like Ayaka and Ganyu. If you don't have Mona, Xingqiu, Kokomi, or Child is another option as well as Barbara, but running Barbara alongside Diona is not necessarily needed since Barbara can only heal, unlike Kokomi which have an increased damage during her burst. The fourth member can be Venti, Kazuha, or Sucrose for crowd control access and elemental resistance reduction of 4-piece Verdescent Venereer. For a more free-to-play option, you can run her with Rosaria or Kaya as a main DPS, Xingqiu for Hydro application or any Hydro character, and any Animo character for a crowd control access and elemental resistance reduction. You can also run Diona in any Melt or Superconduct team composition due to her flexibility, but I will only cover Freeze team because this is where she shines the most. And when it comes to her Constillation 1 helps her regenerate 15 energy after using her burst. Her Constellation 2 makes her shield stronger and provides shield for nearby party members, which is pretty good in co-op, especially when fighting against Ashdaha. Her Constellation 3 gives her 3 levels on her burst. Constellation 4 is not really good because it's just make her charge shot faster when she's inside her elemental burst. Her Constellation 5 gives her another level, like 3 levels on her elemental skill, and her Constellation 6 will provide you 200 elemental mastery for any character within her burst if their HP is above 50%, and increased healing if their HP is below 50%. Overall, Diona is a really good support character even at Constellation 0, so you don't really need to invest that much for her Constellation to make her an effective support character. Basically, Diona is a pretty solid support with good shield strength and healing. Very free-to-play friendly even on a lower investment, and she has no split scaling, which makes her very easy to build and goes directly to her shield and heal. With proper investment, she can keep your team healthy all the time with a decent amount of shield. So I hope I was able to help you decide if you want to add Diona or not into your team. Before we wrap this up, 97% of you guys watching this video is still not subscribed to the channel, so if you find this video helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and like the video to help me with YouTube algorithm, and in return, I'll keep you posted for the latest updates in regards to Genshin Impact. And again, I'm Learn Day Today. See you on the next video, guys. Peace out.